Hello, and welcome to an innovative episode of the Drywall Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Harmon. On today's episode, I'm excited to introduce Royce Lennox and Stephen Brown, co-inventors of the Three-Way. If you haven't heard of the Three-Way, it's a handy little paper corner that happens to fit right into your existing drywall system and possibly save up to 25% of time on your next job. Royce and Stephen have brought their product to market despite maybe some negative comments.
People can say whatever negative thing they want about it, but I understand their negativity is just from lack of experience and so on. It doesn't rattle me at all, the negatives.
Good.
A lot of times the negatives to me are opportunities to explain to other people, what's actually happening.
This month's podcasts are brought to you by Platformer Solutions. You can listen to me talk with Shane Larson about the Platformer on episode 16 of the Drywall Podcast. Don't sacrifice your life with knockoffs or 2x4s out of the dumpster. Go with the name that started it all, the Platformer. Ask your local distributor or order online at www.platformersolutions.com. In fact, if you order in the month of February and use promo code PODCAST, you can get $100 off your order. The Drywall Podcast is also brought to you by Fresco Harmony. Fresco Harmony, making walls better since 2004. Now available in Toronto at CSR and also globally at CSR Online. I'm excited for you all to meet Royce and Steve, some of the coolest guys I've ever met on this, the 37th podcast of the Drywall Podcast. Let's get into it.
We're wearing matching clothes.
Yeah, I just got this from the Junkies.
Excellent.
Representing. I do like the white. I am kind of a white. I like white shirts. The Fresco Harmony original shirts were white, but I'm real simple when it comes to like this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I generally don't even want to wear anybody's logos on my shirts.
No, me either. For the podcast, I've started wearing different things.
You have other things going on today, Nick?
I just got to close this for a sec.
This is, you can't see her. This is Josie, our producer.
Hi, Josie.
I'm not a good producer, but hey, bud, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. The connection always sucks on my end. I wish I had better connection, but you just have to bear with the delays. I feel like part of it's moving my computer around too. I can get a good spot, Yeah,
I hear you.
Josie Driver. And Josie is, how are you guys related to Josie?
She's my wife.
She's your wife. You've known her for a few years?
Oh, 30.
About or 30?
I don't know. I don't know for sure. It's about 30. Maybe
it's around 30.
Some things
around 30.
just become timeless.
I feel like, after 25, you don't have to remember anymore. You've been married long enough. We've got Stephen and Royce, Three-Way the World, on the Drywall Podcast today. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Nick. It's great to be doing a podcast with you.
Heck yeah. Stephen, tell me your last name.
Stephen Brown.
Stephen Brown. And Royce, what's your last name?
Lennox.
I like it. And Stephen, I was reading on the website. I was just perusing the Three-Way the World website. And I was reading you have a little bit of a business and marketing background. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I have a little bit of a story. I lived in Asia for about 10 years and came back to Canada, and I really didn't know what I was going to do. And Royce, the son I was friends with, he he reached out to me and said, come over to Ontario. So about 10 years ago, Royce got me to take care of the numbers of the business, bid jobs, do payroll, and really understand the back end of the business. And timing people's jobs out is a big part of bidding jobs. So I thought I better get into the field and became an apprentice, learning how to tape, throw tape, spot nails, back cut pre-fill, and all that stuff, you know? Run boxes.
Sure, probably took you a couple weeks, right? 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, it's super fast. And the places that they were doing were almost all level 5 finish, so there was no margin of error, you know. So
yeah,
I'm still learning every day. I think everybody is, right? Be successful, you got to deliver a great finished product, be on schedule, and not eat up your tight margins with any efficiency stuff like that. And you know, some of the things you pick up, or at least you think you do, like spotting a nail, that seems pretty simple, but you can still learn how to do it better. Anyway, the three-way corners, you know, first few that I tried, I was almost crying, and it took forever. And then Royce showed me his idea about putting in a prefabricated adjustable three-way corner. And I thought, wow, really good idea. So we kept working on it and making it better and better and better. And that's what we ended up with right now on market and we thought, instead of just keeping it, start selling it to people and kind of try to help them have a better finished product.
Yeah, as you can see, Steve's a lot younger, right? So old school was always about keeping your secrets. So three-way was my secret, because I could go from, say, in condo projects, from doing 4 condos to doing 6, because that three-way is 25% of your labor, and it takes you.
So wait a second. Let's not get too far ahead. You were making three-ways before, like, the three-way came out. You were making these out of some type of paper.
Yeah, I was sitting at home, chopping it up and putting them together, you know, in my spare time at home, you know, watch TV or something.
Really?
And I thought, what the heck, it's just my time at home, you know. It's a time-consuming thing, but it was just my time at home. I wasn't worried about it. But then I take it to the job, and boom, it's just speeding up the process so much.
Yeah, but they didn't have big squares of paper tape. What were you using?
Oh, I bought different types of paper. I kept working with different types of paper to try to find one that would work. I never actually found a paper that would work when I was just making it by hand. It worked, but it didn't work. All it managed to do, which seemed to be quite a bit even then, was give you a three-way that was just so fast to skim right into. But the three-way we've developed now with the right kind of paper and everything, you simply skim those 3 edges. You don't even go into the three-way. So
we probably took about 3 years trying thousands of different kinds of paper. You know, you have regular printer paper. You get that wet, it ripples all up. Cardstock, it's too thick.
Yeah.
Tensile strength is important. Like paper tape, if you try to rip it this way, it doesn't work. You have to do this way.
Who knew paper tape? Who knew paper tape was so cool? So like cool. It's like dollars. You know, it's like a currency.
That's a very special thing as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You can't buy that paper tape paper. The paper they use, you can't buy that. They've got
WTF?
It's just like money. The Federal Reserve's got it all locked up.
USG.
Yeah.
Who is our paper tape manufacturers? Who do we got?
Well, I heard USG just got bought by NAF, making NAF the biggest producer of it worldwide.
Does USG currently make all of the paper tape?
I hope I'm not getting fact checked.
No, that's okay.
It mainly comes out of factory in the States. There's some Chinese paper tape that's a little bit thinner, a little bit narrower, but that's serving North America, right? Europeans use a paper tape. It's about an inch wide, and it's kind of like a nylon.
They're kind of weird. The Europeans are kind of weird, though, right? Anyways.
Yeah, it's a fashion wall. I don't know.
So did you guys like go and tour a factory or something? I mean, it seems like an interesting thing. Like, you don't think about paper tape, drywall paper tape as this unique tape. I always just assumed it's just paper tape, right? It's made out of paper.
Yeah, it's different than the drywall. It's different than the paper on drywall. I'm not sure about that type of paper. We eventually had to kind of invent our own formula.
Spent a lot of time in
annoying.
factories over there learning how things were made.
Yeah.
And like, as you know, Nick, doing your own company and your own product, it's a lot to learn just about the labeling, what's an eye-catch design for your product,
Yeah.
how to bring it to market, and what different aspects make up paper, you know?
Yeah.
How much water they can take, their strength, and paintability, of course. It's got to, like paper tape, it has to be mudded over. It's not going to paint the same as drywall paper. So we had to match all these things up.
And it had to be paintable too, or because if you had to skim it like tape paper, you have to have it covered in mud. You can't just paint on it. It'll flash on your wall different.
Okay.
So this had to be paintable, because when you just skim it out, you're saving so much time by not having to go into the center of that three-way, and you're keeping all those nice lines by not having to put mud in.
Yeah, you don't have to pick out your corners, sand in there and stuff. That's the most time-consuming stuff, eh?
Would you say that your paper that you're using for your three-way is better than normal paper for walls?
It's stronger than wallpaper. Like drywall paper, if you have some screws, butts, you have some mud there, and if you sand too much drywall paper, it'll start to fluff up. And when you're painting, that'll leave a different texture, a different sheen and stuff like that. The three-way, it's not meant to have mud in it, but if you sand it a bit, it stands up more than drywall paper does.
It's not going to go fluffy on you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are going to come out with your own paper tape for angles, right? That's the next step.
Eventually. Come on, don't share too much, Nick.
I don't know. My entrepreneur brain's just going.
Kind of have to. There's a better tape. Yeah.
Yeah, but you like Royce, let me ask you this. You like Fibofuse. Do you use Fibofuse?
Yeah,
or no?
Well, I find, yes, I do. But all the different types of tapes, you got mesh, you got paper, you got Fibofuse, they all work in different areas for different things. But for like to tape out a whole house, walls, butts, everything with Fibofuse, no, I use paper tape. Okay. I would never use mesh, because mesh, your crack will come right through. But with paper tape, even if it cracks behind, it's not coming through your paper. So paper tape is the best for your overall purposes.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to do an angle with Fibofuse, eh?
Yeah.
So the whole three-way concept was invented because Steven was so bad at corners. You had to figure out how to get this rookie an easier way to do corners, right?
I wish I was the one, but there's a few others. You want to know where it came from there? Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to get function, had no purpose for him, because he was just so terrible at every touch. So I thought, well, if I could make that three-way, because I had thought about it many times before, and I thought I'm just going to start folding up this three-way head, and it would be more like preparing the three-way, so it was easier for the guys to flash it out. That's kind of what it turned into. And he managed to be able to put those in and find and be some use. But one of the beauties of three-way as it is now, because it's gone through such an evolution since then, is that you can take like apprentice, you bring on an apprentice taping, it's 6 months before you can break even on the guy. Within a few weeks of being able to work with a knife a bit, you can have a person pretty proficiently putting in your three-ways. A guy who's never worked a knife could probably put one in, but he wouldn't have the speed factor you need on site. You compound your time huge, because now the journeyman can go to his feet, his butts, all that stuff. Because that was the journeyman's job. That was one of the, It was one of the things the journeyman had to do above everything else is three-ways. It's the hardest part of your job to get right. So, and it's 25% of the labor in your average house. So now your apprentice is doing it, you're doing other things.
I like that.
Even if you're doing it yourself, even if you're doing it as the journeyman, for me, and it's going to vary for everyone, most tapers are spending up to 10 minutes. If they took a stopwatch and clicked it every single time they go into that three-way, because they're going in up to 5-6 times with rough standing.
I heard you say that. I heard you say that statistic on the other podcast, and I was like,
yeah,
that seems like a long time. 10 minutes in a corner for a journeyman. I've never timed it, so I don't want to. But all I'm saying is, it seems like a long. If I think about how long it takes me to finish a corner twice, less than a minute. But that's just me.
That's people's feelings and stuff. As Royce said, the stopwatch. So your first step of throwing the tape, if you're very imprecise, 5 inches from the corner, you're good using the three-way. So you're saving if you're hand taping. You've learned through the years to cut them.
Inches out of your corner, right? So.
Cut them perfect. Your roll of flusher, you're still going to have to clean up those tapes, straighten them out, get them all perfectly overlapped. So you eliminate that step. And then putting it in, it could be about the same if you're really skilled to wipe out those tapes, the same as install. But instead of pinwheeling out and the 3 tapes, the mud drying, picking it out, sanding it, it seems like little seconds here and there, but the total adds up.
For me, and I've been doing it for over 50 years, I take 4 minutes to do a three-way properly without three-way. With three-way, I do it in 1 minute.
That's true. Properly, like I'm used to floating out a three-way and having it look kind of crappy, and then worrying about it on multiple floats after that, But
yeah.
Interesting.
Pretty much when you first install it, it's almost done.
My question, brain, goes to so you're making these three-ways, these crude three-ways early on for your crew and your guys to throw up in the corners because you're tired of like corners looking bad. This is something you can do in your living room, and you're finding, before you even invented this product, you were finding this is a faster way to do it, regardless of all the whys. When was it that you decided, or were you inspired, I think I could make a product out of this and I think that I could sell it? When did you have that flash?
To me, it was the secret that I wanted to keep. It was when I started working with Steve, the younger guys, they're all about, no, we're in a day and age where you get ahead by giving out. So, he said, let's produce this and start marketing it to everybody else. So that's when we decided to get involved in that.
So it was your idea, Steve, to take this idea to market?
Yeah, to bring it up better, to make sure it didn't fail for people. That's very important. If they put out a product, they'll fail a little bit. And you always be making your product better and better and better. But we've gotten to a point now, we're professional tapers. We were both taping today. Yeah. And using it, we know when things are good enough, or is it making you time, and getting to those business conclusions. Yeah. Are we making more money by using and having a good finished product? So it checks all those boxes. Yeah. And the hardest thing has been the name. Everybody loves the name, obviously, but it's a new system.
Yes.
Traditional, stuck in your ways. I'm so fast at this. This is like if you're running a butt or a flat with a pen and a knife, but if you've used a box, you're using a bazooka and you're trying to go faster, and then it fit it into your system. It works, That's what we had to get it to, where it's an infallible product for people with skills so they can make the time. And as you know, like your product's beautiful. It just needs more people to realize it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, no, the point that the takeaway for me is like, I don't think that people like take into consideration is that like Royce and Steven are professional drywall finishers. If they didn't think this was a faster system, then they wouldn't have put it, especially somebody with the experience that Royce has. They wouldn't put it into the market to ultimately, yes, to make money, but ultimately to help the industry, make it a little faster, a little more efficient.
Yeah, that's really what it is. It's the help. Like I noticed when I was doing books about drywall company that a job is done, it's painted, and maybe 3 months later, like people were very diligent, very skilled. What, 50 years?
Yeah.
Others 20 years, so on and so forth. We still had a little bit of crack out in the corners that somebody had to go back and touch up and then repaint, and that just kills your margin. This one piece, perfect lines, consistency throughout the house. Average homes, 100 three-ways. If somebody's taken a video for social media or something showing how great their three-way corner is, it's probably one of 50 that's good. These are all going to be the same, perfect line.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So you decide we're going to make this into a product. What's your first step?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, like back to the paper, we really had so many kinds of paper, and then we added a double layer to it to give it that reinforcement in case the board's blown out, gaps, stuff like that, instead of just a piece of paper, like paper tape. So we're guaranteed those lines are there. It's not going to sink back in. The last development was Royce came up with slitting the three corners because it was kind of rounding out when it met the tape. So sure, those slits, they actually meld right into the tape instead of rounding out. So it's crisp line all the way down. That was the last thing. So just like many companies, research and development, testing until we're sure it's good. We haven't really sourced out many people to help us. A little bit on graphic design. All the videos and stuff, I'm shooting them, editing them.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to get the awareness out to it, really. Yep. I think what we're doing now, we're ready to go to market, where we didn't really know how to explain it to people, how it works. And, the beveled edge, perforation.
So that little split at the tip.
Better to make sure.
That split at the tip there. I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
It didn't make sense when Royce first said it, and then upon application, because I kind of noticed they were rounding, and as soon as he did that, they just lay super flat. The first ones didn't have this flap here. So framing, two angles are probably 90 degrees, one's a little off. So this gives it that adjustability, but still holds the lines crisp,
Yeah. Yeah. So Royce, you're an older person in the trade. You've been around a long time. This is something that it's pretty fearful. Like you're stepping off onto the skinny branch here. You're doing something new. You've been drywalling all your life. Is this something that's pretty nerve-wracking for you? Tell me about that a little bit. Are you like freaking out? What's the deal? Are you 100%, because really to be an entrepreneur, you have to be, I heard it today, you have to be comfortable. I think it was Steve Harvey. Some little thing came up on my feed and it was like, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. If you want to get what you want in life, you need to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And that, to me, that's the definition of an entrepreneur. We live in a world that is unfamiliar. Unlike drywall, where you get to go, you know what to expect. Yes, jobs vary from job to job. Tell me a little bit about that. Normally that's like a young person game type thing.
Well, hosting a podcast like you do, of course, would be a stretch for me.
It's cool being an inventor and have somebody buy your product. That's cool. you know, what they don't tell you is, you know, taking criticism and all the bitch of coming up with a product and marketing and business and all that stuff. You know, how's all that going?
Well, you know, I mean, I've been doing the taping itself for so many years. I was a professional painter, journeyman painter, before I became a taper. But I accomplished that by the time I was 17. I was a professional painter. So, so yeah, I don't find myself being too uncomfortable with talking to people. It's a bit of a stretch, you know, but as soon as we get going, you know, I'm comfortable. It's a little, you know, you're thinking about it a bit, some of the podcasts, you know, but no, once you get in there, I find it, because I so understand the three-way. I have no doubts about that, no hesitations, nothing I'm trying to cover up. People can say whatever negative thing they want about it, but I understand their negativity is just from lack of experience and so on. It doesn't rattle me at all, the negatives.
Good.
A lot of times the negatives to me are opportunities to explain to other people, you know, where, you know, what's actually happening.
Yep.
But they tell me just to focus my time on the positive guys, so I'm doing that more. But I used to answer some negative ones, but I thought, oh, that's a good opportunity to answer that because other people are reading it, you know.
Yeah.
So I know whatever you have to say negative about it's just because you haven't experienced it or tried it or
Yeah.
thought it through or taken a stopwatch to figure out where your time's going. So
Right.
I think we're real strong, Nick, because I've taken a lot of that stuff on that you were mentioning. Royce and just for him to explain to people what it is, how to use it, that's enough, you know. All that other stuff, we just work together. We play off each other. Like there's real good teamwork.
I was going to ask Royce something. I met you guys at CSR and Royce, and I had seen the three-way because you guys are doing pretty good marketing. So I'd seen it, you know, and Brad showed it to me. He's like, what do you think about this? And I was like, oh, it's kind of interesting. I don't know. You know, I'm not in the drywall game now, so I can't give it a good vetting. I would definitely vet it, though. What interested me about the three-way when I watched your video was that you finished out the corners. The natural instinct is to finish out all of the corners and then move on, but you left the corners open to be done later with the three-way. That's totally different. You know, that made me think like somebody's going to have a paradigm shift there. Those drywallers are going to have to really shift with the way they do those corners to adopt the system. Now, if it was me, I would try that. I would try that method.
You know, something I found, even you know, taping all these years. You know what I found too with the three-way is it's even for myself. Like I knew it would be faster to run your bazooka, not having to worry about tucking your tapes in tight to all your you know in all your corners. But when I grabbed the bazooka and ran it, you know, and just cut it there, I was surprised myself how much quicker it was to run that bazooka without worrying about tapes dragging out of the corner. You know, as you're running your top angle, that tape will often drag. You have to be able to time it out and set just enough, you know, paying attention to all those details, just running it and not having to worry about that.
Yeah.
To have you have the physical experience of it is different than thinking about it, you know, than thinking, oh, that would be faster. When you do it, you're like, wow, I'm surprised how much faster. You need the physical experience of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with this. When you take this and actually throw it in there, every journeyman that's ever done it, they go, oh, you know, you can see there's a shift. It's like, yeah, it's one thing to see it. It's another thing to hands on, do it yourself, and you go, oh yeah, okay, that makes a difference.
Yep, that's what Cam said about Fresco Harmony. It's it's experiential. Like you don't really, oh, he's coloring mud, but then when you do it, you're like, oh, okay. And I watched you specifically, Royce. You did a couple of coats, and I could tell the wheels were turning. It was like you got it like right away, like what I was doing. You know, it's not. Yes, it's not rocket science, but like nobody does it. You know.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I really wanted to try it immediately. I
Right,
was like,
right.
wow, I got to try that. I got to experience that because
I think you split your time 50-50 between the
yeah,
three-way
I was
booth and the Fresco
half the
booth.
time at your booth as I was at our own.
I know, it's so
But
cool.
yeah, but that was a cool experience to do
That's
that.
awesome.
The thing that I saw immediately with your product was this is literally all you need to build a major business out of it. It wouldn't take much marketing to get into and to get into homes with that at all. It's like, yeah,
No, no. From an applicator standpoint, we talk about it a lot, but it's like, yeah, one home show in your area, you'll have 50 jobs.
yeah, for sure. I was wondering if that's something that we can say on air. What's the price of that?
Oh, we talked about that before. Yeah. We figured it out this morning about price of certain finishes, different materials.
Yeah, we were thinking about that. Like, what would we charge to do that per foot?
Yeah, because
Oh,
we
yeah,
looked
no.
at it this way, Nick. I know you talked to me a bit about it already, but if somebody's getting marble, and what is that per square foot just for the material and then the installation? So say at the very least that black and white lava, whatever effect it is $5 a square foot plus installation. And if you're doing a drywall finish, it's X amount plus paint. With this, it's different. So we know
Yeah.
kind of what things cost here. So
Yeah.
we've come up with our own price for market specific, somewhere in between,
Yeah, we were discussing it because we both are creating panels, because we both tape, but we taped together for years. We worked together for a lot of years, but we're not working together right now on drywall. But so we have different clients and stuff. So we were thinking, well, if we start bringing this into our clients and showing them samples of what we can do, we need to be in agreement with each other on what we're pricing that at. So we're not,
What'd you come up with?
Well, we're in the same area, so we deal with kind of the same clientele. Like
So are you talking about competing or working together?
No, we work in separate areas, but we're in the same, let's call it region. We know some people that do board tape finish for 50 cents a square feet, and we know people that do it for $5 a square foot. So the spread is large. We need to be at the same price. We're not going to compete against each other. We have different clients. We might even collaborate on jobs, but we just need to set a kind of an industry standard for us. And it's complicated.
What do you guys charge? What do you guys charge to hang, finish, and hang and finish? What do you charge for that?
Okay, fair enough. $1 to $3, depending on the bulkheads, beads, angles.
Okay, so $2. $2. I would double that. I would start at 4. I would start at 2 to 3, but that's on the low end.
Yeah, 4 to 5 is kind of what we're thinking.
Yeah.
We were thinking around $5 a foot
for just fresco.
Yeah, because your tile, for example, of this a similar looking finish to your product's finish is $10 square foot. That's just the material. So if you're talking, as you said, 1 to 3, so say it's $2. What's the paint and the primer? Are you putting another $1 on that or two? So
$1.
It's absolutely fair. You're
at $4. Hang finish paint, $4 to $5.
Yeah.
You should be 20.
Flat surface is boring.
you should be 20 to 30% over that cost.
I think 5 would be the rock bottom.
Yep. So that is a fantastic conversation, Royce, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of the plaster guys don't want to have that conversation because it's expensive, and they talk more about durability. They talk about how beautiful it looks which is fine. But that is a major conversation. And it's why nobody has come up with a solution to the problem of why don't we make beautiful walls? Why are we still doing level 5 in paint? It is boring. Like there's nothing more boring than a flat finish. I mean, even a hand textured wall has a little bit of character, and you cover the butts and bands.
That textured wall thing is very much an American thing.
Yeah.
It's rarely seen in Canada. You see it more in really old buildings, and stuff. You'll see some of that. But yeah, it's really an American thing, the wall texture. And a smooth finished wall, as boring as it is the hardest one to create.
Yes.
I don't mean just your regular drywall, but a level 5. Do that right that's not an easy task. So, but it's still, it has its place like everything. But yeah, to have
do you have much wallpaper in New Mexico?
It's coming back. No, I mean on a market whole, it's coming back a little bit. My wife wants wallpaper.
Yeah.
I'm like, just pick a tapestry that you like. I'll make it out of like watercolor in fresco harmony. Like, at least you can paint over that. Wallpaper, you're just like stuck with it.
Yeah, it's a major problem.
It's horrible.
Or anything else.
Yeah, but they're doing it. I've done Parade of House Homes that I did. She had a wallpaper specialist come out and wallpaper the bathroom, and it's like god awful wallpaper, and it's like, all right, it's not my house.
It can really look cheap, hey? Yeah. You could get some digital prints.
50 years ago, when I learned how to, when I was apprenticing as a painter, it was more than 50 years ago, but wallpaper was pretty big then. That was a big part of your training. I found not lots, but I found a number of hotels, with really wide stuff and 30-foot drops and all that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So you guys are marketing. You're marketing the 3-way. Maybe we'll do another one of these. But I know here's my thing is these guys have done 3 podcasts now. You did the Build podcast. You did Sean Ramsden's podcast, and then now you're doing my podcast. Do you enjoy them?
All 3 of you are really fun to talk to. I love listening to podcasts too. So
oh yeah, me too.
Why not? Hey?
Yeah, no, yeah. I find it kind of fun. First one I was kind of nervous, but once you start, so much has to do with the host, like how good you are at keeping it flowing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it like you are and you got that experience, you know how to keep it moving and
it's
fun. Keep it light.
Well, Manny was the first one, and I have huge respect for him. I had no idea he came from a film background, marketing and advertising, which is incredible to know anybody in that field. Project manager, and you've done a lot, so you've got a lot of bad ones and some that really know what they're doing and hold the high standard. And Manny just screams that out. And the diversity of his knowledge and guests, I wasn't expecting to go on his podcast at all. I just reached out to him talking about drywall, I think, and he said, hey, why don't you come on the show?
He didn't realize that you guys even had this amazing 3-way idea that you were promoting. It seemed like.
No, he didn't.
No, it is like we're doing now. There's nothing staged. I flipped one over to him. He'd never seen it before, and he was just floored. Why isn't everybody using this? And yeah,
right. It was pretty cool.
Great time. Yeah.
Early on, I did a whole podcast with Corey Fisher with the Texture Dry tool, and I didn't hit record. We had to do the whole thing again. It was no big deal because Corey's cool. Oh, well. You guys are cool. So I'm booked out into February, but I have Thursdays available. This Thursday, I finally wrangled Myron Ferguson. So he's so hard to get a hold of. I don't want to screw that one up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Now, I noticed you
Well,
guys aren't I noticed you guys aren't cussing a whole lot. Are you like not cussy type people?
I swear like a pirate, but I'll probably share this with family. I got some kids.
Ah, all right. We'll keep it clean.
Yeah,
We'll keep it
yeah.
clean. Yeah, yeah.
You go ahead. It's okay.
I take cues. I take cues. You know, I'm talking to drywallers, and also there's the aspect of like talking plainly, where you get authenticity. Like that's what I want. We're talking about the three
Yeah.
way. Is this something I should buy or not? I'm not trying to promote it. You know, is this a good thing that would benefit drywallers? You know, Royce has been in the trade 50 years. He was using the three way before he even invented it, really, to speed up time on the job. It was something he found important enough to make on his couch in his living room when he's watching TV in the evenings to speed up the process during the day. That's enough. That tells me all I need to know to try the damn thing on the next job. You know, like, but that's plain.
well, I
That's
know
plain marketing.
Yeah.
when I was when I was sitting there making them before, I remember I used to think it would be cool one day if we actually made this thing professionally. Because if nothing else, I'd just love to have them for my own jobs. But yeah, no. So
Well, that's the thing. I don't mean to be such a capitalist, but it's the way of the world. Royce's product help his company, other people, and
Yeah,
that is Royce's motivation to help everybody. And
yeah,
yeah,
and it's fun.
it's fun. It's fun to see it spread.
Yeah. Yeah, I moved to
Go
Albuquerque and
ahead.
I was just gonna do colored walls. I was keeping it a secret, you bet your ass. Like I wasn't showing anybody. I was like, oh, drywall guys will steal this. They don't care. But like,
Well,
but
Don't worry,
when,
man. We're gonna make a show of it up here.
when so and that's not entirely true. The more people see it, the more they like it, which is what a good product will do. It'll stand on its own legs when you get it in front of the right
Mhm.
people. They'll get it, they'll use it. And that's there's a level of marketing that's important, but once somebody has that product, it's got to be able to have its own legs. You know, um
Mhm.
I wasn't gonna make a product and until the bottle idea came. Oh, I could formulate the color, and then once the color was formulated, then now that's I do the same thing on the job that you guys will do. I buy the color from my own company, I take it to the job and use it. You know, I do it the same way you guys would. Keep track of my money, keep track of my time, keep track of how many bottles I'm using on each job so that I have that feedback all the time.
Two different companies, I suppose, is how you'd run
I
that
find
part.
too, like as far as letting the secret out, like when it comes to three or whatever, I don't have any hesitation about that. That's for sure anymore. One of the reasons is because you just start going through the process of creating the product, and there's so much involved. It's like, yeah, go ahead, try. You know, if you,
Yeah. I'd have to
we do
become
have
an
a real
expert
bad
at I'd have to become an expert at paper, for Christ's sakes. I mean, it sounds like that paper thing's a big deal.
Yeah, it was. It was. We got 7,000 of them in my basement right now that we wouldn't even sell. You know, because we thought we had figured out the paper. Oh, great, let's get her done. Order 10,000 three-ways in, and here we have this rippling problem going on.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
well,
right.
it seemed like the greatest idea was instead of putting mud, let's have water activated glue. There is paper beads that are water activated. Why not? Well,
Oh,
it just doesn't. It works most of the time, let's say, but when it fails, you don't want a product that fails, right? So if there's dust in that corner, water activated glue isn't really going to bond that well and it might ripple out. So, no, full stop. Go with what people are used to: mud, paper tape. That's essentially the system in place. So, this just, it's not a big transition for tapers, journey people to figure it out, get it happening.
yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, originally we do have quite a few sitting. I don't have the heart to haul them to the dump or anything just yet, But yeah, they got the glue on the back. You just put it in water and you can stick it in.
Much thicker paper too. Hey,
Yeah, there's thicker paper and stuff.
Well, there's
probably
glue.
still
There's glue in the mud, though. There's glue in drywall mud, all purpose.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even more in the tape and mud. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the water activated glue seemed like just the best idea. We tried it out multiple times, just couldn't get it to succeed.
Yeah. With product development, marketing a product, there's going to be failures. There's always ideas that don't pan out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I spent $100 and some on a 32-inch Columbia mud pump, not to put on mud, but to transfer sealer from my 50-gallon drum to the buckets for production.
Right.
Yeah.
And it works like a champ. I have no access to a mud pump in this town. Like, I don't know drywallers. I don't know anybody that has one. You know, I wanted to support the Columbia guys, but that could have failed. And then I would have been selling a mud pump, but it worked. You know, it was a theory, but a lot of these things that we do, they're theories and you try them out. The Drywall podcast was a theory. I had a theory that it would be popular. I had a theory, you know, it was going to be about like just promoting Fresco Harmony kind of, but I in my brain, I was interviewing like, you know, more of the characters from the Facebook groups, and there would be more like arguing and like it would be more animated. But what happened was I got connected with, you know, all of these like upper tier, you know, all of the influential people in drywall seem to be very good drywall finishers and drywallers. Like, you know, like Kyle with Drywall Junkies, like, you know, Drywall Shorty, you know, these guys, even like, you know, Fa Finishing, Curtis Fa, like all of these dudes, Mudman Dan, they're really good, like finishers. Like, it's impressive, you know.
Well, if anybody's interested, we have Three Way the World on Instagram, and you can check out a video about him today that is pretty impressive. Hawk and troweling and flick blading out an invisible speaker.
And then it's threewaytheworld.com.
Three-Way the World is Instagram. Three-Way the World, like with the number 3, is for Instagram.
Oh yeah, good point. Good point.
It doesn't matter for
Three-Way
this one.
drywall products is the YouTube.
You say I'll swear for you some more next time.
I've never heard Royce swear.
And yeah, more swearing. You know, I've heard two different schools of thought. I've heard different schools of thought on that too. Like, you know, I've heard like, oh, people that swear are more intelligent. Like, you know, whatever. I've heard that one. Like, you know, but then drywallers swear, so that's not necessarily true. And then you got like, you know, people that my wife's business partner doesn't swear at all and thinks it's not good. Like, it's just, you know, and he's not religious or anything. He just doesn't swear. You know, he finds it sort of, you know, not, you know, not professional or not conducive to the conversation. You know, there's different schools of thought on swearing. It's very interesting.
Just words, but yeah, they do carry a lot of weight.
Yeah, they carry weight.
I mean, I swear here and there, but and I'm not religious in the least, but I do realize too that there's just so many like you know, like so many people that are religious, you know, that you know, you won't be careful of your audience, I suppose. I'm thinking, you know, but that's probably over concern, I'm sure.
That's smart. I think it's smart from a business standpoint. I'm not going to be doing, oh, by the way, too, I wanted to talk about, I did get a booth at Intex or Build 23.
Yeah, I'm going, and we'll see what happens. I'm going. I'm pretty sure I'll be doing a demo somewhere there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, are you going to jump in with another?
Yeah, you told me you're going to.
Are you going to jump in with another booth, or you want to keep it a secret, or?
Well, you're confirmed, right? You know what I mean? I went through all those steps before of buying a booth and giving the submission of what we're going to do there and all that.
Yeah.
We're not 100% done yet. So
Okay.
90%. I was already going to go, but I think I'm going to be involved in a booth.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's so awesome to have you guys, and thank you for your time. Don't think for a second that I don't appreciate you guys taking the time. It's good for me. I think it's good for you. We're going to bring awareness to the three-way. It's a cool tool. So
I appreciate that. And we're going to bring awareness to Fresco up here. And I guess we'll see in February and then again in March anyway. So
you definitely see me in February. I have my tickets. So that reminds me, I need to send Brad an email, but we're going to do a short 4-hour training. It's just going to be Fresco Harmony. He's going to invite as many people as he can. We'll do the sand finish. We'll do the swirl. We'll do layered. I'll give out some color packs. It'll be a lot of fun.
You must have a date on that and everything, eh? I need to get.
He's already got tickets.
Yeah, we have not. We have not.
Sure.
No. I haven't launched. I haven't launched a date, Royce, but it's the 20 February. I just haven't made it like official, but it is it would be the 24th, Friday the 24th. I'll be at CSR in Ontario.
Yeah.
I've heard the weather's kind of rowdy then. You're sort of rolling the dice a little bit, but it'll be
hot,
fun.
Nick. Don't worry
here
about
we've been
it's hot.
Fortunate.
Good.
Here we've been fortunate. Like, we haven't had a winter yet.
Okay.
Right around us. You go 50 miles that way, they have, but all like down the.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful when I was there. I was like, I don't know what these guys are talking about. It's nice up here.
Yeah, if you're close to the lake, it's different. The rest of Canada is, but
yeah, you came to the oasis of Canada, really.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's different.
All right.
California.
All right.
Ground.
Yeah. All right, you guys. You have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Week from Thursday.
All right.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye. Bye. Special thanks to Steve and Royce for being with us on the Drywall Podcast today. I really appreciate your time. This month's podcasts are brought to you by Platformer Solutions. You can listen to me talk with Shane Larson about the Platformer on episode 16 of the Drywall Podcast. Don't sacrifice your life with knockoffs or 2x4s out of the dumpster. Go with the name that started it all, the Platformer. Ask your local distributor or order online at www.platformersolutions.com. In fact, if you order in the month of February and use promo code PODCAST, you can get $100 off your order. The Drywall Podcast is also brought to you by Fresco Harmony, making walls better since 2004. Now available in Canada at CSR, and you can also purchase Fresco Harmony globally at CSR.com. Thank you so much for joining the Drywall Podcast today. Stay tuned. Next week, we will be interviewing Jake Gordon of G4 Drywall Tools and Spray Equipment out of Minnesota. Until then, keep drywalling.